Okay, hello. You're catching me at the very end of the day. I think it's almost 11 o'clock, which I would like to be in bed right now. And I considered skipping the videotaping tonight. But I think it's really important. This is day 2 of 2025, and I think it's important for me to keep up filming for as many days as I can and keep like a really good streak. And I think this is just going to be a common obstacle of like, when do I film? And it's very easy for me to push it down the priority list of all the other things that I want to do. I feel like there's just so many things I still have to do. I still have to read my 25 pages for the day, so I'm going to do that after filming. I'm going to do that in bed. And then I want to do my little breathing routine pre-going to bed so that I have like a really great night's sleep. And I packed my bag to go to the gym in the morning. I have my clothes and my towel to take a shower at the gym, and I have my shower sandals. So I did all this so that in the morning I'm not coming up with excuses to sleep in. Although I probably will still have the excuse of, hey, you didn't get a full 8 hours of sleep, so you should just like sleep in. And when have I ever gotten a full 8 hours of sleep and not felt totally guilty about it? Because if I do get 8 hours of sleep, it's because I slept in and ditched all my plans in the morning. So I don't want to do that tomorrow morning. My bike tires are fully pumped, my bag is packed, and I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to really try and make that a priority during the weekdays at the very least. And, I can have a ton of excuses of there's not enough time, there's not enough time. And I think this is the year where I fully embrace my craft as a witch. And I fully manipulate time. And I fully pull in whatever energy I need from the universe and not really concern myself with, oh, there's not enough energy inside me. No, there is energy all around me. There's infinite energy on Earth, in the universe, and I'm here to be a vessel. So if I need the energy, if I need the time, I have that, and I will pull that into me for when I need it. So I'm not going to concern myself and be like, well, I can't go to the gym because I'm going to be too tired for my long day. Whatever. I'll survive. Some of the best days of my life have been with very little sleep. Often I travel, if I'm taking a plane, I'll take the first flight because it's usually the cheapest flight. And inevitably, I'm packing super late the night before, and I get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And often that day that I'm traveling, I'll get to whatever city I'm arriving at. I'm not, taking a nap when I get there. I'm like, no, I'm fully energized and everything's working on all cylinders. And it's usually, some of my best days have been with very little sleep. So I'm kind of over that fear of, oh, I don't me filming this and then going on to reading and doing all these other things and not going to bed at 9 p.m. When am I ever going to go to bed at 9 p.m.? I don't know. Maybe someday. I think it would be helpful if I didn't take like 2 naps today after work. I got home. Okay, so I got home a little bit after 3, and then something pulled me to reactivate my Twitter, which all day I hadn't been on Twitter at all. It was super great. I was able to be really productive at work, and I was able to do my journaling and to do job searching, and it was just like a really productive work day. It went by pretty quickly. But then I got home and I was like, hey, let's like waste some time and like get on Twitter. So I got on Twitter. And I looked at the clock. And I was like, okay, well, let's try to give ourselves a deadline of how much time you're actually going to spend on Twitter. And I looked at the clock, and I think it was like it was like 3:20 or something. And I was trying to assess like, well, how much time feels like a lot, enough time. And I was like, well, what if I just round up, 30, 40 minutes, and then it's 4 o'clock. And I'm like, shit, that's like a lot of time. And by 4 o'clock, like, it's winter. The sun is already kind of setting. But that is the reality of how much time I've been wasting on websites like Twitter. Just hours and hours and hours of time that could be devoted to a myriad of activities that I actually want to do and that would progress my life forward, but instead I'm on Twitter getting dumber and dumber and dumber. Sometimes there are nuggets of wisdom that I'm really appreciative that like I have stumbled across, and that's the addictive part of it, is almost this kind of search for knowledge, and you're kind of digging through the garbage to find that golden nugget, because there is a lot of garbage on Twitter, a lot of weird conspiracies, a lot of people just like flat out lying, flat out like trying to rage bait you to get engagement. It's just a very ridiculous place. But I mean, I do find, every 30 or 40 post, I'll find something really cool. And that's the addictive part of it. And so I'll spend hours on that. So today I reactivated my Twitter, and yeah, I was on there for 30, 40 minutes until it was 4 p.m. And then I was on there until it was like 4:30 p.m. And then I felt just really bad because I'm like, wow, it is so easy for me to waste my time and be on this website for hours and hours, and that accumulates. And I'm like, shit, what was I doing in 2024? Spending a lot of time on Twitter and not spending a lot of time on my dreams and accomplishing those. So no more. I deactivated Twitter again. It's hard for me to just completely get rid of it. It is something that I appreciate, being kind of tapped into what's happening around the world, and I feel like Twitter is one of the few places where I can do that. Instagram isn't really like that. Instagram is very much like 90% influencers and pretty people trying to sell you things. But Twitter is still, ugly trolls that sometimes have some interesting things to tell you about. And I like to check that out. So it's hard for me to just completely be like, I'm done with Twitter. But I'm definitely needing to like pull back immensely. So I'm going to continue to do that, continue to deactivate my account when I can, and get to the point where I'm spending, maybe an hour a week kind of looking through Twitter. But for the most part, I don't really need to be there that often because I have a lot of things to do. Yeah, so I got home, I was on Twitter for a bit, and then, gee, where did the day go? I got really sleepy, thinking about all the things that I need to do. This is pretty common for me when I'm really wanting to be productive, and instead I take a nap. So I did that, woke up, saw that it was still a little bit earlier in the day, it was like 5 p.m. and I'm like, let me close my eyes again and go back to sleep. So I did that. I'm very curious too, as I'm talking, like, is it better if I'm looking at the screen and seeing myself, or is it better to look directly at the lens? I don't know. So I've been talking at the lens for a while. Maybe it's really weird, but maybe it's weird that I look at myself. But maybe that's important to look at myself so I can kind of assess, like, what I fucking look like. I don't know. We're figuring it out. We're doing our skincare routine. I was very tempted to go to Jed's Pizza for dinner tonight, and I convinced myself to not do that. I looked through my fridge and I saw that I still had some salmon, and I still had some rice that I needed to make, and I had lettuce that hadn't gone bad yet, so I made a very nutritious dinner rather than going to get pizza, because that just seemed really counterproductive. It was pizza's very counterproductive for my skin. It's very counterproductive for whatever results I want in the gym. And I was obviously thinking about, like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym at like 5:30 in the morning tomorrow. I'm going to pack my bag. But then it was like this idea of, like, that's all very silly when the night before I just got like 3 slices of pepperoni pizza from Jed's Pizza. Literally the worst thing I could put in my body. Close to it. So I'm really proud of myself for skipping the pizza and having some salad, some fish, and some rice. I had a very Mediterranean dinner. So I was really proud of that. I'm really proud of myself for literally having zero temptation to drink or smoke. That was really the only thing that kept me happy in like the last 2 years, was getting stoned, even though I knew it was ruining my life. And to be honest, really didn't even think about it at all today. I'm thinking about it now as I'm talking about it. And it's okay to think about it. It's okay for a thought to pass through your mind. I think that's a part of meditation, to like realize, oh, you can have that thought pass through your mind. You can have that thought of, ooh, I like weed. Ooh, wine is really good. And you can let those thoughts pass through your mind, but you don't have to necessarily attach yourself to those thoughts and succumb to them. And I'm very much someone who, in the past, is like, well, I've got to succumb to that thought. A thought enters my brain, therefore I have to act on it. Therefore, I gotta get stoned because I thought of it. And, I really want to continue meditating and just being very conscious of the thoughts that enter my head and realizing, hey, you're in control. You don't have to partake in every thought that enters your fucking mind. So I'm very proud of just like not even trying that hard with it. I was just like, I didn't even think about it. I wasn't like, oh my God, like I should go to the dispensary because I feel so bored or sad or whatever. It's like, no, I don't feel that. I feel like there's so much I want to do, so much I want to accomplish, and getting stoned right now would just make everything so much harder. Talking to the camera right now is already very difficult. I'm already very self-conscious. I'm already very self-conscious about tripping over my tongue and not speaking in a very coherent, linear fashion. And I'm doing this sober, so you can only imagine when I smoke some weed that I would just be like, do you know what, fuck it, why even bother, because I'm stoned and I'm under the influence, and anything I say is just gonna be dumber and more slurred and more embarrassing and less professional. So that's really, when I look back, I'm like, well, why didn't you post YouTube videos? Like, why didn't you make all this content? But the main factor was because I was more interested in smoking pot and getting high, and this allowed me to kind of disassociate myself from any of my goals and just be like, well, I'll be the better person that I want to be tomorrow. But tonight, I'm garbage. I'm a dirtbag. So I'm not going to do that. And then that's kind of a really destructive cycle of constantly being like, hey, I'm garbage. I'm a dirtbag. I don't follow through on my word. My word means nothing to me or the people around me. And let's just be garbage tonight and not do the things that we promised ourselves to do. So I'm very happy that I didn't smoke. I didn't go downstairs and buy a bottle of wine. And I'm very proud of myself for deciding to sit in front of this camera and yap. Because I think it'd be very easy to just be like, oh, I don't have time. Yeah, I'm excited to, like I said, be the witch that I am and manipulate time, manipulate energy, pull from the universe when I need whatever energy I need to accomplish what is necessary for me to accomplish. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that tomorrow when it's 5 a.m. and my alarm goes off and I don't want to go to the gym, but I'm going to remember, hey bitch, you've been working really hard these last 2 days and now it's day 3. Are you just going to give up? We'll see. But I think in the morning, what really works is when all my bags are packed and I'm already wearing gym clothes. Like I have my shirt, I have my pants, my long underwear. All I really need then is my socks, my shoes, which are already set up by the table, and my bag for clothes and my towel, and I need to bring a toothbrush. I need to buy toothpaste. I actually need to do quite a bit of grocery shopping, which I'll do that tomorrow after work, so that I'll have enough money in my bank account because I get paid tomorrow, and I finally will be able to pay last month's rent. Hopefully my landlord isn't totally fed up with me. Fortunately, I think she really likes me, so that's good. But I'm kind of embarrassed by it all. I want to do better. So, but it'll be good. I'm going to get paid tomorrow. I'm going to pay my rent. I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to buy toothpaste so that I'm not squeezing the living life out of that tube of toothpaste that I still have right now. I'm very much at the end. It's done. So, but anyway, so I have everything packed and ready to go for the gym tomorrow. I want to get there at 5:30, and then I want to hit the showers by 6:30. That'll probably be at the gym. We'll see how that works. I It might be in the future I'll decide that I can go to the gym and I can make it back home at a certain time, and I can just shower here at home. We'll see. I don't really know. Because I would like to have time to do my vocal warm up. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a vocal warm up necessarily tomorrow. I think I will still do. I can do my humming. I'll do that for sure. Where do the 5? I'm getting a little off, so I'm definitely gonna work on that. Maybe that'll be my vocal warm ups when I can't do the full 45-minute warm up. That was good. So tomorrow, wake up at 5, get to the gym at 5:30, shower by 6:30, get to work by 7, do my journaling up until 9, spend the other time doing job research. So that was exciting. I went to Indeed, and there were a few positions. So originally, I was looking at the list of like what is my profile providing, and there's a lot of like barista jobs, and I'm realizing, of course, if that's what you're looking for, then that's what you're gonna find. If you're just looking for barista jobs, you're gonna get a barista job, and I don't feel comfortable doing this anymore. I'm really uncomfortable telling people that I'm 33 when I'm very much like aging out of all of this, especially when I'm not a manager or a supervisor in any way. But I don't really see myself wanting to go further, because there were a few, barista positions that were for supervisor, and why? I don't care. I really don't. It's very dead end at this point. But on Indeed, I put in a search engine and I put media. And there were a lot of like really cool media jobs in Chicago that were like for marketing firms, and there were the positions that I saw. It was like associate creative director, which sounds great. And there were a few positions at a few companies, and so I think tomorrow I'm really gonna like look at those companies, see what they're all about, see what the requirements are for. I already kind of scanned what the requirements were, and I can already tell it's going to be like, hey, we want you to have 7 years of experience, yada, 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 yada. But the advice that I've heard is just like kind of ignore that. Like, you might not have the 7 years of experience, but if you can convince them that you have 33 years of life experience, like I don't have 7 years of XYZ experience specific to that job, but I do have 33 years of experience of what it is to be a human being. And if you're marketing to human beings, guess what? I know what that's like. So I think you just got to go in with confidence. And also, it's okay to be a little deceitful. I'm very much someone who's like afraid of lying. I'm a terrible liar. But it's kind of just wild just seeing how that was like, I think it was a good lesson to learn as a child, but it doesn't really hold up as an adult. Like, I think I still want to have integrity and I still want to be authentic and true to myself, but I do think I've held on to these lessons of like being a child, of just like, oh, never lie. When really the people who are getting ahead, they're telling a few white lies. If you're a billionaire, you're a big fucking liar. You can't get to the billionaire status without like lying to a lot of people. And even some millionaires. I think a lot of millionaires are also in that same position. So yeah, maybe I'll lie about the things that I have experience about if I can get my foot in the door. You know, it's a $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 salary job. I've never had anything like that in my life. And that would be life-changing. And it's hard for me to imagine what my other options are. You know, my options are sell something, sell a screenplay, or just be like a very famous somebody. These are all cool things. I'm still going to pursue that. I'm still going to do content creation. Maybe that'll super blow up. I'm still going to be a writer. I still want to be a filmmaker. So I'm going to do all of those things. But I'm also going to be open to getting a big boy job with a salary and health insurance and, you know, all these things that could really help me in a big way. Because one, I already have the apartment. I'm very happy about the apartment that I have, and the rent that I pay, it's a little bit much for my current situation. Certainly, working as like a part-time barista, it's a little ridiculous how fucked up my finances are. But I mean, truly, honestly, for me to get to the place where the rent that I'm paying makes sense, most financial advisors advise that your rent shouldn't exceed 30% of your income. So if my rent every month is $1,875, then ideally the range that I would be in with my yearly income would be in like the $70,000 to $80,000 range, which is what all these creative associate director positions are paying. It's like, well, why can't I have that job? Why have I told myself that I can't have that job, that I'm not smart enough, that my brain doesn't work that way? I think my brain can work that way. I can work toward that. And I have to. I don't think I can continue to sell myself short any longer. It's not working. No one's really believing it. And it's just like I've had to lobotomize myself to be in the position that I am right now. And I've had to, you know, smoke a lot of weed to just get to this point where I'm just like an idiot. And I look back and I'm like, well, you know, you've always been neurodivergent. You've always had like whatever struggles in school, yada, yada, yada. But I've worked through that, and I'm someone who has the tools to improve, and I have done that in the past. And I think I've just done myself a disservice in the last 10 years of, rather than working to better myself and looking at what weaknesses I have, rather than improving on all of that, I've just kind of been like, well, I've always been this way and I'm always going to be this way, so like, smoke up, whatever. It's not true. It's not true. I'm very smart. I'm very, very strong-minded, and I'm going to get what I want. So, and that includes filming a video 30 minutes every night. This felt good. This felt like a little therapy. I feel like very rambly. Tomorrow I need to make an effort to start cataloging these videos and kind of editing them down. And I need to keep up with that, because I think if I make too many videos, then it's just going to be a backlog of these videos, and then I'm going to feel like I don't want to make any more because I'm like, I don't want to add more work to my life. But I think if I just consistently like shoot a 30-minute video and then the next day spend a 2-hour block of time editing and really like getting these videos down to like 10 minutes, getting them to a place where I'm not just like rambling and crazy. So I'm gonna do that. See you tomorrow.